to be stepping into Abby's shoes today and hosting our weekly Tuesday Live with the amazing and beautiful Katie Day.
Thank you. Right back at you. Everyone tell Rachel her hair looks fine.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Hey, Katie, what are you drinking today?
I'm just drinking a cup of boldness. What about you?
I got some bold water in my cup too.
It actually is just water. Is that the same for you?
Ice water. Do you drink your water with ice or no ice?
First hack. I don't care either way, actually.
I prefer room temp.
Oh.
Don't put ice in. So if I go to a restaurant, I'm the picky one that says, can I have a glass of water, but no ice, please?
And they're like, is she European? Ooh, fancy.
No. All right, guys, we're not talking about what we're drinking today, but we are talking all about how to balance your work life and your personal life. And we're going to give you a couple of quick tips and hacks so that you can find better balance. Can you guys let us know in the comments that you can hear and see us okay? And we are going to jump in. But first of all, before we do, let's talk about ourselves, shall we, Katie?
Sure. Who are we?
Who are we? Katie, you go first.
I ask that every day. Who am I?
Right?
I'm Katie Day. I am the Chief Marketing Officer at the Virtual Savvy. My dream job, my dream team.
Yeah.
I absolutely love what I do. I love all things marketing and design and strategy. And I get to work with a lovely Rachel. Rachel, who are you?
Who am I? My name is Rachel Dorsey. I am the Senior Director of Product here at the Virtual Savvy. So if you are inside our Savvy system, Savvy Vault, or any of our products, you interact with myself and the team. I love all of our students and our members and love supporting you as you're building and growing your own virtual assistant business.
Me too.
Here we are.
I love you guys too. We're the best students.
You're the bestest. Katie, how long have you been with Virtual Savvy?
A year and a half-ish. Yeah.
That is not long at all. It seems like we've known each other forever.
You know why? I think it's because we balance work and life so well that we have time to be present.
So true. I think what's so great about our position too at the Virtual Savvy is that we all enjoy working with each other. All enjoy interacting. We may mute our Slack channels every once in a while, but overall, we love working with each other and with our teams. I hope that the team totally agrees and says so in the comments.
2 out of 2 of us agree that the team loves working together.
That's right. 2. All right, shall we jump in?
Let's jump in. I love this topic, you guys.
Yeah, this is a really, really good one. And we were talking right before, and we really have some good tips and tricks for you. So join us in the comments. Let us know that you're here. Let us know where you're watching from, and let's dive in. Katie, what are some common fears about managing all the things?
Yeah, well, and also I'm going to say we have some really good tips, but we are there's no part of us that's like, you know what? We've made it. Oh. We've arrived. We've actually done the thing where a mom balances her personal life and her work life. We did it.
Katie, let's talk about our families. Tell a little bit about
Yes. I have 4 kids, 10 and under. So they're 10, 8, 6, and 3. I have gone my journey, you guys, I probably end up getting emotional on this live, fair warning. But my journey of trying to strike this balance, which to some people, balance is like a dirty word because it's like there is no such thing as balance. We're all just doing our best. But the harmony, I guess, where you don't feel like you're straddling both lanes all the time. I think I could write a book on what not to do.
Oh, so
because I went through I'm going to be a full-time entrepreneur and full-time homeschooling mom and never miss a beat anywhere. I don't even think I need to hire a cleaning person. I think I can just, I can do everything. And then COVID taught all of us that you can't do that. So I definitely know what it's like to not have any tips or strategies in place. And I don't recommend it. What about you?
I want to address something super quick, and then I'll introduce my family, not in person, tell you about them. I think COVID taught us a ton about ourselves and our situations and how we can grow and adapt no matter what's thrown at us. I think it also taught us things we didn't expect to learn about ourselves. And I would love to hear in the comments, like, let us know, maybe it was COVID, maybe it wasn't COVID, but one of the biggest lessons that you have learned since starting your VA business when it comes to balancing work and life and what that looks like. I would love to hear in the comments. My family, I am married to my amazing, handsome husband, Joe. We've been married for almost 16 years this December. We have 3 children under 10. Titus is 9, Ada is 7, and Jax is 3. He just turned 3 this past weekend. And so while growing my virtual assistant business, I had 2. So I started when the older 2 were much younger, preschool age. In fact, that's why I started my VA business, so that I could pay for preschool and not have that as a burden for our family. That was my big goal. And then we went through a pregnancy, lost a pregnancy, and then Jax came along, all in the midst of growing my virtual assistant business. So I've gone through being pregnant and having a newborn and growing the business in the midst of that, then later, soon after, joined the Virtual Savvy team. So totally can relate to feeling like I'm juggling all of these different things all at the same time and trying not to drop them. And if I drop them, giving myself grace and space in how to pick them back up and handle them. Because you're right, we will never arrive and figure things out and be perfectly golden. Like, there's always going to be moments of growth and opportunity for us. So let's
just say, if you're going to drop one of the things, don't drop the baby, probably. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I would agree 100%.
Okay.
I cannot tell you how many times, like, I would be literally holding Jack during a Zoom meeting. And sometimes I would have to excuse myself, turn off the camera, go put him down for whatever reason. But embracing that as part of my journey, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that later too, but never apologizing for being a mommy and being a business owner. Okay, let's talk specific fears. What are some specific fears that we have about managing all the things?
Okay, so this is the part where I usually get a little choked up, but I'm going to push through today. I have this big overarching fear because, truth be told, I actually really enjoy work, Katie. I enjoy working. I enjoy contributing in that way. I have yet to have a job I didn't really like. I think I just happened to pick an avenue that fits me really well. So, but I would have this fear that older Katie would look back and think, like, you worked away the baby years, or you didn't savor the time you had kids in your house. Why did you make work a priority then? Why didn't you just, I don't know what the alternative was in my brain, but why don't you just focus just on the kids and then you can pick up your job later? So I think anytime I would feel work creeping in, or, anytime a kid's like, Mom, will you please shut your laptop? Like, you're not paying attention to me. It would be like a big rude awakening and be like, oh gosh, should I be working at all? Should I, am I prioritizing that way too much? So that would probably be my biggest fear.
Yeah. And I think too, along with that, is I've realized that I am actually a better mom because I am a working mom. Now, hear me carefully. That doesn't mean that if you're not a working mom, you're not a good mom, okay?
Or Rachel Dorsey.
Listen to me carefully. But I have realized that by having something that's mine, that's something that I can grow and flourish in as an individual, it actually makes me better in the different areas of my life, whether it be my friendships or my marriage or my parenting, because I'm feeding that inner desire of something that I want to do and growing myself as an individual, I actually am a better mom. So that fear of, am I not going to be able to give them enough time? Or are my children going to look back and wish that mommy was around more? Actually, mommy's going to be around more because mommy is thriving and feeding herself and taking care of herself. And in this particular way, it's giving me an avenue as a professional. So I totally can relate to that fear. I think another fear that we deal with too is the fear of just being successful. Like, what if I get into this business and I really do well? I know that I can. I know that I can create the best copy or the best graphics, or I can be the best executive virtual assistant. What happens if I actually am successful? That's going to mean a shift in how you work, how you function through the day, how your family operates, like just your general schedule. And I think that that can be scary too. Would you agree?
Yeah, or just like, did I choose the wrong thing to be successful at? It's, if you're saying yes to something, you're saying no to something else. So you're always choosing something, no matter what it is. But yeah, I think it's kind of rooted in the same fear there. If my business takes off, boy, I'm gonna have a lot less time at home. So I got to think this through.
Right. And I think that we shouldn't be afraid of success. I think we should look past the fear of success and look at, okay, if I'm successful, yes, my life is going to change and there's going to be things that I'm going to have to overcome and systems and patterns that I'm going to have to change. But because of my success, what does that mean I get to do? Like, after you've turned that page and you've been successful and you have those clients that are regularly paying you money and clients are still coming to you for your services, like, what do you then get to do for your family or for yourself or inside of your relationships? What is your why? Like, why did you even say yes to starting this business? And revisit that to switch your mindset from fear of what if I'm successful? What's that going to do to my life? To, ooh, what do I get to do if I'm successful?
Right.
And dreaming and visioning, casting a vision for what that could look like. So,
yeah. What do I get to do with my kids once I'm successful? Yeah.
Right. Well, and everybody seems to agree in the comments too, that taking care of yourself is so important and making sure that you're providing for yourself. And it could be inside of your own business and giving you that creative avenue. I know for Katie, she's super creative and genius when it comes to those types of things. Me, not so much. Mine is customer service and executive type admin tasks. That's where I thrive. But finding that place and your zone and growing as an individual. So I love that.
Thank God for your admin capabilities, or I would never know what graphics to make.
True that. Watch your ClickUp. You may see some new assignments today.
Oh no.
Let's talk top tips. Like, we've addressed some of the common fears that we know and that we've experienced. Let's talk some like tangible things. I don't know about you, but I love when I read a book or I read a blog post and it tells me like actual things.
All I want is action steps. That's all I want. Just give me a list of things to try. Yes.
Let's do it. What's one of the top tips you have for reaching a good work-life balance?
Okay, so as I told you, I went from having no childcare and a full-time work from home job to now all of my kids are in some form of school. So I want to explain that a little bit. It all is summed up by this psychological concept for me called monotasking, which is essentially the opposite of multitasking. So the idea of multitasking supposedly is actually not possible. You can only do one thing at one time. Otherwise, you're going to be doing one of those things extremely poorly. It's said that multitasking actually lowers your IQ. So like, I'm good at graphics unless I'm doing graphics while disciplining, and now I'm bad. I'm dumber, literally, at graphics.
Well, hold on. This is really interesting. So we often say that multitasking is a strength that we have, that we're able to do and handle different things at the same time. Is that actually not a good thing? Is that what I'm hearing?
Okay, hot take, I guess. Hot take. Guys, you didn't know you were going to get live controversy. So it's maybe those are two different words. We're able to play different roles, but we're not able to play them at the exact same. So for me, the minute that I had designated work hours and designated mom hours, I became like genius level IQs at both. I was the dumb IQ levels at all the time. And then it's like, now I am the best worker during this block of time. And I am an extremely intentional mom during this block of time. I am there. I can hear you. You're really the only thing I'm doing. However, yes, can I hear about your day while I'm folding laundry? Probably, because laundry is not a language skill. It actually doesn't really require a lot of skill. Can I listen to a podcast while I drive? Sure. It's the only thing going on. I'm pretty autopilot on this. Can I answer the business email and finish up the proposal while you're telling me about your day? For me, no. I either wrote your day down in the email. Have you ever done that before? It's like kids head in line, a hopscotch, send, and you're like, oh, whoops.
Yeah, oops.
Doesn't make any sense. Or you're like, oh, that's fun. And she's like, that's not fun. I told you about the bully. And you're like, that's not fun. What? So sorry.
I can't tell you how many times that has happened. So many times. Oh, can I also revisit something? Why is it laundry doesn't take much skill, but the 9-year-old thinks he can't do it?
Oh, the 9-year-old can do it.
I know. The 9-year-old can totally do it. We'll get to outsourcing in a minute.
Not my 9-year-old, just some 9-year-old service that I use.
Be careful. Keep going.
Okay, so that to me is like the overarching theme of these tips. And for me, the biggest one was childcare. And I wrestled with this so hard. And what I actually did when I dove really deep was that my resistance to childcare was my resistance to outsourcing really anything. I was feeling like a lot of control issues and a lot of anxiety. And if the kids were out of my care, they would somehow not be okay, or I wasn't doing my job as their mom. I had a lot of layers of stuff I had to unpack before I was willing to send them to school. So I actually did homeschool for quite a bit. And then once I did put them in school, I found like a significant increase in both my own joy as a professional and as a mom, and they thrived as well, which is obviously the biggest revelation.
Right. And it's the truth that we can fight against that fear of, oh, well, are my kids going to look back and say, oh, mommy wasn't there. Mommy always had to work. Mommy was always on her phone or her computer. And we can fight that with truth, is that when I focus on work during these times, and then I focus on my children during these times, I'm actually winning in both by doing that. And we've talked about this before, Katie, but talk a little bit about what the concept of deep work and light work is when it comes to interacting with our children.
I love this talk. Yes. Mm-hmm. So we're actually going to kind of, we're going to throw some tips on like what happens when childcare is either not an option or is canceled, or, COVID cancels the whole school year, all of it, right? You might find yourself in a situation, like everyone's had the experience where it's like, I had childcare lined up. I had my block of work time and mom time, and then that got taken from me against, my own will. So what now? So to me, there are two sides of my brain that require either deep work or light work. Deep work really does require me to shut the door. This is the only thing I'm doing. There is honestly, for me, I can't even have like music with lyrics playing, because it's like something else entering my brain. So if I need to like write an e-course, or, it's language heavy or something like that, I need to shut the door and be able to focus. And the only thing I'm doing is that has to be monotasking time for me, or it's like, I'm just on a loop of, I just wrote the same sentence 4 times in a row. It's not actually productive. Light work might be, watching a video training while you're prepping dinner or something like that. Something that really doesn't require 100% of your focus. So if there's a way to time block your day, we love time blocking at the Virtual Savvy.
Yes, we do.
You're aware when you're assigned a task, or if you make your own task list, if you're an entrepreneur and you've got your own task list, which hopefully you have some type of task software. I highly recommend it. If you don't, you can label those, which one is deep work, light work, and just get in the habit of knowing which is which. I like to start my day with the deep work because my prefrontal cortex, all right, brain nerd, it fatigues. It's a renewable resource, but it gets tired. It's the same thing that controls your willpower. It's the same thing that controls whether you make good choices. It's your decision-making part of your brain, and it does fatigue. It has like a 24 lifespan, and then it reboots after you sleep. So if I can do my deep work when I first get up, and it's my first concentrated block of the day, I mean, I'm not kidding you. It's almost a formula. I can get 6 hours of light work and about 1 hour of deep work if it's 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. or 9 a.m. without kids. So utilize, your best time of day, and then save those light work tasks for the times of day where you know you're probably going to get distracted. And the third category, which is intentional parenting time, or if you're not a parent, intentional downtime, be intentional about that too. Time block that into your day. So then when the kid's going, Mom, you're still on your computer, you're like, I am, but don't forget, right after lunch, we're going to go jump on the trampoline and do like a relay race around the backyard for an hour. I've got that blocked in my time. Put it in your work calendar, trampoline hour, put it in ClickUp. Most people,
trampoline hour, add it.
Yeah, well, not for me because I've had a lot of babies. I don't think I could last an hour. So, but make a section of intentional non-work time and turn your stuff off. Make sure they know, whoever's depending on you, who's communicating with you. But that way you have these blocks set and you're not just trying to do mom time during deep work hours or trying to squeeze in deep when everybody's around you. You have the chance to actually what's the thing where it's like you're in charge of your day or you're kind of like running behind your day. There's like a cooler way to say it. If you know it, put it in the chat. But it's a completely different feeling when you're living life with intention or you're just like living a life in reaction and you're just trying to catch up all the time.
Yeah, and I think part of that too is communicating that to the people in your life, whether it's your children, your spouse, your partner, your family, friends, like communicating when that time is. I find that it's not only a particular time of the day that I have to do my deep work, but it's particular days of the week. Like Monday, I don't do deep work on Monday. There's a lot of reconnecting and meetings that happen on Monday, and I don't have that good deep work that happens. And Friday is really not the best time for deep work either, because I'm wrapping things up and I'm ready to be done for the weekend. So it's finding not only that block of time, again, I totally agree in the morning, first off, to do that deep work, but it's also the time, the day of the week that would be better.
I also noticed you can get faster. Deep work is kind of like it's almost like flow state. Like you have to kind of get into it to make it trigger. I don't know if you've ever had that feeling where it's like, oh, I think 3 hours just passed and I didn't feel like I was working anymore because I was just like in it,
Yeah.
I think you can get faster getting into that deep work flow state too. I like the more you practice it. So if it's not something you've actually experienced, it can come with practice. You just gotta shut the door, get into it.
I totally agree. Okay, so let's talk our next tip, kind of leading from shutting the door. I think one of the best ways that you can have a good work-life balance is having a designated space for when you work. So it could look like an actual room in your house where you can close the door and walk out or be in your deep work. But for many of us, it doesn't look like that. We don't have the extra spare room in our house or in our one-bedroom apartment where we can close the door. So what are some ways that we can create that designated space for our
Well, Rachel and I kind of brain dumped this and we got really excited about the possibilities because that is the truth. Not everyone gets the luxurious home office. I have never had just a space that's my actual home office, but I've had some creative hacks in the past. One of my very favorite things was I found it like at a flea market, is like a vintage secretary desk that actually has like the lid to it. Yep. And my laptop fit perfectly inside it. I painted it yellow. It sat in my living room. You just kind of walk past like, oh, that's a cute little thing in your living room. But when it is open, it's work time. And when it is closed, it is clock out. It's so nice to like, yes, I can be mid-sentence on my notepad and not have to like frantically clean up. I can just close the door. And there's things like that are also, for desktop or whatever, like a whole bookcase unit with a shelf. And they make cute ones.
Right.
It's not all the 1980s ones that you remember.
And you don't have to actually paint it. Like you can find them that are ready to go and you can just use it. What's the word? Arm wire. That's the word.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like they have doors. So you could literally close the door or roll the thing up and close it. I think one of the big things about finding a designated space is finding unused space inside of your house, like an inconspicuous corner that might have a plant in it or a stack of stuff that needs to actually be put.
First of all, a plant in a corner is not unused space. That is almost the best.
Oh, can I tell you, maybe I said that on
imagine. But go on. I see your point, kind of.
Right. Well, if that's a really good space for
Right.
your new roll-up desk.
Get a hanging plant.
Get a hanging plant. Move the plant to a different corner.
When you water it, because it's going to ruin your computer.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. But no, seriously, like finding that space in your house that may be better used for your desk or your workspace. And that's the space that you use. What is it that our amazing COO, Melissa, said?
Yes, Melissa. So Melissa designated a space, and she said this is her mantra to herself. She says, this is the only space I work in, and I make it inconvenient to work anywhere else. So anything associated with her work, she keeps in that desk. So it's like, I think I will just go sit on the couch. She's like, I'm not going to go sit on the couch because I have my, my files and my stack of my very favorite pens and everything. This is where I work. She also got a desktop intentionally so that she wouldn't just, go hang out on a laptop. Another tip from Chachi, he says, or what was this, Chachi or you? I remember we talked about it. When I'm at home, I don't work from my laptop.
That was me.
That was you. Okay.
That was my personal boundary. And that's another tip we'll talk about too, is creating those boundaries for yourself. I don't work well from my laptop only because my laptop is so tempting for me. Now that I have a desktop and I can sit at my desk and work, my laptop at home, if I'm at home, will cause me to work outside of those normal hours, and I can be super tempted. Oh, I'll just open my laptop really quick.
Yes.
I'll respond to this email. I'll respond to this message. Oh, she needs this from me. I'll just open it. No, that's a huge temptation for me. So that's a boundary that I've created for myself. Do I work from my laptop outside of the home? 100%. If I go to the library, if it's open in your area, and work from the library or the gym, like absolutely, I'll take my laptop.
I love that tip. I've never heard that before. Honestly, I've never not had a laptop since I've been like an adult. So all of the, hearing all of the team talk about how they don't like to work from a laptop, I'm like, wait, am I missing something magical? Do I need to get a non-laptop? So stay tuned.
But here's the thing too. There's also something to be said about not sitting at your desk working. And this is a conversation that we had with Chachi. Like sometimes you have to get up from your desk to have that creative space to come up with interesting solutions and innovative ideas. And so leaving the chair of your desk and working somewhere else can actually be a really powerful thing. But you have to have boundaries in place so that you're not interrupting that time that you've designated for family or friends.
Yes, I love that. There's a lot of really good comments coming through. A couple people from New York Apartments, shout out. Yeah. And then Courtney says, your own space makes a huge difference. And she posted a blog about boosting productivity from home. It's one of our most recent blog posts. And then we have another person that said, let's see. Oh, once you go desktop, you could never go back, says Melanie. You guys, follow along my journey, whether I get a desktop. It's going to be riveting. And Melanie also says, I have my desk set up to where my monitor blocks out the rest of the room. So while I'm still in the common living space, I can focus. That's smart. That must be a big
super smart
monitor.
What were some of the other ideas that we came up
for space hacks?
Yes. Room divider. You ever seen those? They're like accordions. Like I remember having a Zoom call with somebody once where they had that behind them. So it blocked out the rest of your space. So let's say that you do, I know that Lynette and Alex both live in New York apartments, and their space may be limited, and maybe you don't want your bed to be showing in the background. So you can just get one of those room dividers and put that up behind you, and it blocks out everything else, and then you have some kind of a nice background behind you.
I love that idea. And guys, I actually did a search on Amazon after we talked about this. They make really cute ones. Like if your vibe is boho, they make like a wicker patterny one. If yours is like more modern, they've got those too. I'm like, I kind of just want to order some room dividers now. But again, it's another thing about being present. Like all of these tips are essentially saying like, how can I be more present when I'm working? And how can I be more present when I'm, not working? And if you're distracted by something in your background, because you're like, oh, did I put away that laundry? Like that's going to take you out of the meeting. So yes, get a room divider. It's all part of it. It's part of entering like the focused state. You can get one behind you and one in front of you.
Right.
A little fake cubicle you set up for a couple hours.
Or how about, I've seen this too, where you like completely redesign your closet. Have you seen that? where
You mean what I'm currently doing?
well, yeah, like yours is more of a walk-in type closet. Yours is huge, but even the closets that just are inset.
Yes, you transform like a galley style. I don't think that's what it's called, but yes.
Totally do that so that your desk or table sits inside the closet. Get a room divider, and now you have.
And you can shut the door at the end.
Right, exactly. Okay, so we've talked about having that designated space. We've talked about outsourcing. Childcare. What are some other ways? What are some other tactical ways we can outsource?
Before outsourcing,
yes.
The other thing about designated space, it doesn't have to be in your home. Okay.
Oh,
so
yes.
I am an extrovert. The most extroverted. And even though I love working remotely, I don't love working at home because I'm not at home right now. I know you thought I might be because of this nondescript chair rail. It's not my chair rail. I don't know whose home this is. I'm just kidding. It's my friend's who also works from home, and we co-work together. We chose our own co-workers. It's very cute. We talk at the coffee pot sometimes. So that's an option. Maybe you're working with a friend who's also remote, and you just pick a room in their house or however you want to work it out. We both shut our door. We're both on Zoom all day long. Also, before COVID, this was my COVID solution. Before COVID, I would rent a room with my library card at the library, this little like one-person room with fast internet. And I just do it was almost like you shut the door and I was like deep work and I would just go and it was great. Coffee shops, if you are an extrovert and it's not like a big language heavy day, just hearing the conversations sometimes is very energizing to me. Do you want to tell them about the gym?
Oh yeah, that was one of my favorite places to go.
It's a good one.
I would dress for the occasion. I would put on my workout clothes, but then I would carry my work bag in. So I would drop Jax off into the childcare because I had 2.5 hours of childcare with my gym membership. So I would drop him off, and then I would go find a corner or a designated space where they had tables and chairs, and I would just work, and he would be taken care of and he would be playing, and I would look like I was working out, but I was doing work.
You were working out of the home.
Right. And I know too, like as things start to open after COVID, workspaces are now available. Like you can go in there and you can, if that's in your budget and you're able to rent a space like that, it's a great option. You can meet people, you can interact, or you can like literally close the door and be all by yourself.
Right. It's a good motivator, like to get dressed, showered, all of those things help me to get into the work zone because I'm going to work, even though it's just from my own little digital world. I love it. Any extroverts in the live? Put extroversion.
Melanie, I see you. Melanie is totally an extrovert.
Or ambiverts. I think I do. I kind of swap-a-roo when I'm a little bit, like when I've been around too many people, then I kind of hide and then, yeah.
I love it. All right, let's jump back to outsourcing. So we talked about childcare, but what are some other specific ways we can outsource?
Okay, so once I did a grocery pickup, I have yet to ever go back. The first time I did it, I was like so nervous. I was like, "Can I help you put them in my trunk?" And they're like, "No, ma'am, we got it. Relax." I was like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Am I a queen?"
Right. Oh, I remember, it's so bad, y'all. I remember mocking the people that would do that. I'm like, you lazy people, like go to the grocery store and get
me. I'm the lazy person.
But here's the thing. I eased into it and I did the pickup where you would still go to the store.
Right. I do the pickup. Yeah.
You still park and then they would put the groceries. But then I discovered the delivery option and I was like, oh, it's amazing. I still do both, but that's time saved and it's energy saved not having to take my 3 kids into the grocery store and battle through no fruit snacks and no sugary marshmallowy cereal and all the things and get what
we know from our city dwellers in the comments if they do grocery delivery, because I also don't know if you don't have a car in the city. I've always been like, how do you grocery shop?
Well, yeah, Lynette's here. Lynette, tell us, do you walk to the grocery store? Do you order your groceries? Alex, tell us, what do you do?
What is city groceries?
Oh, great.
So I picture it before because we're on a delay, so we don't see the comments for a while. So before I see the comments, here's what I picture. I picture if you live in a city, first of all, you're always dressed in like chic clothing, and you're like probably in all black and you're just like always gorgeous, probably by lipstick. And then they're like, what do I want for dinner tonight? And then they just kind of like walk to the corner grocery and they just pick up like one potato and one onion and like a baguette. Like I feel like there's a baguette and then maybe one little brown paper sack with like some green overflowing. And they're like, I guess I'll make this from a recipe that I'll just look up from some famous recipe. And then they walk up their flights and they're very thin and then they cook the dinner from scratch.
That's exactly how I picture it. Exactly.
Alex says we have a car. Okay, well, that's the same.
They walk. She could be walking, just like you described.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna lie, that was a big disappointment.
Great. I think it was a great picture. Well, other things, cleaning, laundry. Like those are just some tactical things that you might be able to, if you have the budget, to be able to outsource. Or, and this is something I need to work on, is outsourcing it inside of my family. And I do this too. Like, don't you have like a CEO? Like each person in your family is a CEO of something.
Have I told you about my CEO?
Yes, you have. And I have not forgotten it. And I keep thinking, okay, I'm CEO of dinner. Like that's what I own. Okay. Yes. And Joe is CEO of dishes after dinner. Okay. But where do my children need to be? What can I outsource? What can I train them to do so that I don't have to do all of it?
Yeah, that's so good. Yes, we do a CEO thing. So for example, I'm the CEO of dinner. I'm the CEO of laundry. Jared's CEO of finances. He's CEO of outdoor care, which we have 5 acres. So it's a whole thing. It doesn't mean you don't help the other person, but they're the manager of it. So if I need extra help folding, I have to ask for help. I can't just be like, oh, no one's helping me fold. I have to assign it and management as a CEO does. You're not always the person doing it, but if you need like the whole family to go pick up leaves for a weekend, you're organizing it. That's not my business. I'll come help, but you're organizing it. It's called who's carrying the mental load of the chore. I will say I am researching cleaning services for the first time. I did it a couple times when I was pregnant and I was like, I did not know this was a choice. I was like a very bad pregnant person. I was like, I can't get my shoes on. I guess I just won't leave the house for 4 weeks. So having somebody like bend over and scrub your floors, it's like, I couldn't believe my eyes. So if you can splurge for something like that, or even splurge for a quarterly clean or a once a month clean, it really can save a lot of time. I know some people outsource lawn care. I know we put everything on auto bill pay that we can. Auto shipments of things you're going to have to need more of. I have like a certain diet protein bar I just kind of have on an auto.
Those are really good tips, Katie. Like think outside the box. Like think of ways that you can outsource or cut time down to give you more time to spend time with your children or your family. And setting those auto things up, diapers and wipes. I'm still in that life. Like I need the diapers and I need the wipes. So having them auto shipped so I don't have to think about it makes a huge difference.
Yes. Yes. And I put under outsource, which this is like kind of like a strange thing underneath outsource. But one of my goals was to read more. So I was trying to figure out where am I going to be like, where in my life do I sit and open a book? And then I learned that, I dislike laundry very, very much. But what if I just always do all the laundry on Saturday and I listen to an audiobook the entire time? Like I kind of time block in and pair it with something I love, pair. And then now weirdly, I like look forward to laundry day. Like it almost feels like me time.
Oh, actually, I'm going to take that tip because I don't like laundry. It's just, I will wash and dry, but then it will sit in a basket for days on end. No lie, this morning, my daughter couldn't find her uniform shorts. Honey, just go check the laundry baskets in the laundry room. They got to be in there. But if I find something that I want to do while I'm doing that, I love that tip.
It's also sometimes when I keep up with the Kardashians, I'm not going to lie. Sometimes it's like a family affair. Me and Kim and Chloe, we all do it together.
Oh, really? I love it.
Yeah, it's good. And then you're not thinking about laundry any other day of the week. You just or batching it. Batch productivity. It's another thing we love at Virtual Savvy. Batching it, and then you're not thinking about it again.
That's fantastic. Okay, shall we do some Q&A?
We shall, but I need you to know that Melanie just had a brilliant idea. She says, I intentionally pair wine nights with folding and Netflix binging. 10 out of 10. Well done.
Oh, I love that.
He invites Kim, Chloe, and, Pinot Grigio.
Oh, and here's something fun to know. Courtney reminded us that there is an epic YouTube video coming this week about automation.
There is, and it's Abby hosts it, and she's the queen of automation.
No lie. No lie.
She's always like, there's got to be a way to automate that. I'm pretty sure there's a way to automate that.
Stay tuned. Katie, when is that coming?
Thursday. New content every Thursday, everyone.
Watch those inboxes. Let's do some Q&A, shall we? What are some questions, y'all? What are some questions that you have? Have you seen? I have not seen any questions.
Well, okay. You also don't have to ask us questions. We want to know. We're asking you. What do you do to maintain work-life balance? What are your hacks? Any little aha moments where you were like, I used to struggle with this and now I don't? Bring it on to us.
Yeah.
Or any questions you want us to ask the group or ask us.
So good. Oh, here's one, Melanie. I totally agree. And I would challenge all of you to make a goal. Like when you're creating a list for yourself, like I can't get a house cleaner today, but if I get 2 more clients, I'm hiring that person, like make it a goal and set it into your list of when you can do that. So good.
I feel like I think I'm quoting Abby. If not, I blew it. But I believe when Abby started her business, she thought about things in thirds. So it's like, I'm going to live off a third of this. I'm going to outsource with a third of this. And then a third, I'm going to invest back in my business. So it's like she was thinking about what she can hand off from the second she opened her doors. And that was so counter me as an entrepreneur. I was a photographer for 13 years. I edited every single photo and answered every single email. And I got very burnt out. And this was during not outsourcing childcare either. So it's like I made a huge mistake when I could have been thinking about what can I hand off so that I can build this business more. Instead, I just kept everything exactly the same and got very tired.
I love it. Tell us too in the comments, what would that thing be? If you could outsource today, if your budget was unlimited, like literally dream, cast a vision, you could outsource anything, what would that one thing be? That's what I want to know.
That's good.
This viewer says she's hiring a high school girl to come over for 2 hours after school to put away laundry, light housework, and start dinner.
Oh, that's so smart. Wait, is that okay? I got to ask more questions. Facebook user. I know you guys can see her username, but we can't because of a StreamYard thing.
Yeah.
Or her first and last name is Facebook user, and I'm being rude.
No, you're fine. Keep going.
Okay. Mrs. User, is this girl also watching kids during this time? Or, you know what I mean? Because there's that 2 hour buffer where kids are getting home from school, but some people are still at work. That's a brilliant use of that time.
Are you saying, are the kids home yet or are they not?
Oh, yeah, interesting. Oh, it's Maria. Hi, Maria.
Yeah. Tell more. Is the student coming over when kids are home or when kids are not home?
Yeah.
Oh.
So she can spend time with them. Oh,
fantastic.
That's adorable. I love that very much. Okay, what else we got? These are so fun.
All right. Time blocking has been a game changer working a full-time job and about 15 hours of client work per week. It's helped me see how much time I truly have.
Yes.
So, good. And that's why we love time blocking here at the Virtual Savvy, is it gives you that visual representation of where are those blocks of time that are designated deep work time or light work time or client call time. And then you can really see where those gaps of time are and what you can fill in there. I
love that.
Oh, Oops, did I take one? I put one on. That's fine. We'll keep going. I have an errand service to pick up groceries, dry cleaning, etc., but no bites. So that is why I did the VA business. Oh, she did that. So this person.
They did an errand service.
I didn't even think, but hold up. I didn't even think of an errand service. Does that exist?
That's brilliant. That's what she's saying. There was no bites.
I think
there should have been.
There should have been some bites.
Is that still Maria?
Yeah.
She's layered.
Oh, this is a good one. I want to talk about this for a second. I seem to struggle with mom guilt. I know it'll get better with time, but do you have any advice, tips, or affirmations to help ease this guilt? Katie, thought?
I feel like Rachel is the queen of combating guilt, and I tend to live in the guilt. So Rachel, why don't you teach me and Miss Krupp?
So here's the thing, and this is something that I still have to work through and I still have to battle, is that I am actually a better mom and a better wife because I'm investing in myself. But I have to keep those strong boundaries in place. For me, I realized that working from my laptop can be super dangerous for me. So I have to learn to put it away and out of sight, out of mind, so that I can focus. And then I clearly communicate those boundaries to my children. Like, when am I going to be working? You know that when I pick you up from school at this time, that I'm done with work and you get me and you get my focus. So clearly communicating those boundaries that I have in place too, and accepting the fact that I'm finding joy in what I want to do and growing as a person. Now that was totally a mindset issue that I had to work through and overcome. But once I realized that was the truth for me, it was a huge victory in my life.
Oh, I like that very much. And I've got one for you. Okay, so I think this is what I think I thought, which does not sound reasonable. I think I thought, if I have my kids next to me 100% of the time, my main goal is, how can I figure out how to be 100% present, 100% grateful, 100% just like patient and savoring 100% of the day while my kids are in the room with me. That doesn't sound completely reasonable.
Right.
However, what if you start with, for 2 hours, for 1 hour that I'm in the same room as my kids, how can I focus and be present and grateful? Because I don't think what the other thing is completely possible. And so what I've noticed, and I'm an Enneagram 7, I really like fun, and my love language is quality time. It's like this perfect recipe I feel extremely connected when I've spent like one-on-one time with somebody on an adventure of some sort. So I will go out of my way to plan a date with each kid. And sometimes it's you and me are going in the downstairs living room and reading a book together. Sometimes it's very, very simple. And then sometimes for their birthday, I take them on a one-on-one, like, epic scavenger hunt. You know what I mean? And I always feel so reconnected after those times, but it's not reasonable to think that every single day can be a scavenger hunt. You've got to lower your expectations.
No, that's really good. And some tip that I heard once, and Joe and I are trying to implement this, is using the kid's birthday. So on this day of the month.
Oh, I love that. Every month.
Yes, every month. So the 7th of every month is Titus's day. And the 21st of every month is Ada's day. And it may not be this handwritten scavenger hunt around the city. Like, it may just be sitting together in mommy's office and reading a book and coloring or whatever. For Jax, it's playing with trains and building Legos, So, but making that designated time for the children and communicating that to them is huge.
I love that very much. We also do this. So this is really low maintenance, very low maintenance, but every Friday in our family is family movie night, which I know is not completely rare, but here's our little take on it. Our little unique take is we're on like a 6-week cycle, and each time it's somebody's turn. So they pick the movie and they pick the takeout. And I'm not kidding. It almost feels like it is your birthday. Like, it's like, when it's your turn, you're like, And then we practice leadership, like it's kind of vulnerable to pick the movie for everyone. Like, what if not everyone likes it? We practice supporting leadership. We say, great pick, Nora, even if it's like, some Disney made for Disney movie thing that me and Jared are kind of like secretly roasting in the background, but she doesn't really know. And they pick the takeout. It's like a moment to be in the spotlight. So there's traditions and things you can add that make the time you do have with your kids feel more epic and intentional, but it doesn't have to be 100% of the time.
So good. I love that. We have Friday night movie nights, and sometimes it turns into more of a battle than it is enjoyment. So designating who gets to pick.
There's no fighting. They just pick. Sometimes there's an inner war where you're like, ooh, I don't know which one. If this one's a risk and this one's a safe bet, but I really want to try this one,
Oh,
Jared picked the birds. That was a mistake.
Like the birds?
We'd never seen it, and I think we misunderstood.
Lesson learned. Lesson learned. All right, I'm going to talk and then we'll close up for the day. Jessica says, most of the times the separation is actually harder for the parent than the child. We have this idea that only we can take care of them, but they have to learn to be without us. Also, it's just healthy for both parties. Single child dates are so important too, as Rachel's saying. I couldn't agree more. And why is it hard on us? Because we have that incorrect expectation that we put on ourselves, that we have to be the one to do all the things all the time. And in reality, as parents, helping them be independent and helping them learn to solve problems is actually really good for them.
We're raising adults is what we're doing.
Oh, that's scary. Is that really what we're doing?
That's what we're doing. It's the whole bag.
All right, y'all. Today was so fun, Katie. I had a blast.
I did too.
And we could keep going, like literally.
Sip the boldness for a second.
We could talk about this all day long. So I hope that this was helpful. We would love to hear, if you're watching the replay, like what are some of your favorite tips and tricks for balancing your work-life balance and things that have been helpful for you, as well as like what was a tip that you're walking away from today thinking, oh my goodness, I'm totally doing that. Katie, what's something new that you're going to implement?
I don't feel like nervous saying this. I'm making over my closet office.
Yes.
I'm thinking about investing in a non-laptop. Would I regret it? Would I love it? I don't know. Stay tuned to my new YouTube channel. Katie gets a non-laptop. I'll work on the title later.
You're going to love it.
You think?
I think so.
Well, I feel like I can't go anywhere. What about you? You going to try something new?
I love the CEO. That is something, since you've told me about that is totally something that I want to fully embrace. Because I think that for me, sometimes I feel like I have to do all the things. I have to do all the laundry. The pants have to be folded just this way. The towels cannot look like that in the closet. But in reality, we are raising adults, and I need to utilize their strengths and teach them how to do it on their own, because mama's not doing it for the rest of their lives.
It's like any outsourcing. It's hard to teach because it's like I could have done it in the time it took me to teach you. But then the results are like 6 months later where you're like, wait, I don't fold towels anymore. Ever.
Oh, that's what I need to remember. Thinking of the success after and what that looks like. Oh, I love it. Katie, have a great rest of your day.
Big fan.
Big fan, my dear. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day.
And your hair looks great. Tell her.
And yellow for you.
Thank you. Much love.
All right, see you later.